Hi, English 1302 peeps. Good to see you. Welcome here from the home studio on April 9th, 2020. Before we get started, most important thing of the day, the dad joke. So a friend of me called me up, said, Chuck, don't worry so much. It could be worse. You could be in the ground, down in a hole filled with water. I think he meant well. Sorry. Well, anyway. That was really bad. I do apologize. It actually pained me to tell you that joke. Anyway, but this week is all about peer review. We should be finishing up our drafts. Should have probably already posted our drafts if possible. And then we should be giving each other feedback. Now we're going to follow pretty much the same procedure that we did for our LLTAs, but I realize it's been a while since we've done that, so I thought I'd give you a refresher course. So what I want you to do is just kind of follow along with me. Now, I'm going to go slowly so you can follow. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see it. So you should be able to now see as we get into Blackboard. So we're going to get in and we're going to look at, you're probably already in here as well, but we're going to look at the work for this week, which is for April 9th. Now we're going to get into the right folder, which is how we give peer review. And we've got some directions. Now, I'm talking you through these directions. I want you to read them carefully, but things to look for. These are the criteria that we're using for review. Now, obviously, we want to be able to look at these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a little Word document, and I'm going to make this as small as I can because actually I didn't need to contact the whole thing. Really, all I need was the review criteria. So I've got this I'm going to make a Word document, and I'm going to make this Word document as small as I can. And these are the criteria. And again, what are we looking for? Effective introductions. And if you see opportunities to improve, make suggestions, things that you like, things that you want to know more about. That's interesting. Tell me more about this. Things that could be more clear, things you understand. Organization. Do the ideas flow from one another, or do we talk about the same subject in 3 different paragraphs, and does it jump around? MLA citation, spelling, and grammar. And remember, the idea is to be thorough. So now that we've got our little list of criteria that we're going to use for review, and I'm going to move this around the screen, we need to look at our classmates' work. Now, here are the groups I've assigned so far. Caitlin, Grant, and Iana, Ashley, John, and Robin, and Elijah, Sophia, and Anna. These are our groups so far. If your name isn't on this list, contact me. So we've got our review criteria that we've sort of cut and pasted from here. We've got our review criteria, and we're just going to remember these, what we're going to look for. We know who we're going to do, so I'm going to pretend I'm in the first group. So now that I've got this, I'm going to go and I'm going to go back to earlier in the week. So back up earlier in the week, there's different ways you can do it. You can click over here, you can click up here. So I'm going to go back to Tuesday's work, because Tuesday's work is where we posted our rough drafts. So we get into Tuesday's folder. We click on Write, and we see Finish Your Rough Draft. I need to fire my typist. Your rough draft of your research paper. I click on that, and I see where people's rough drafts are posted. So I'm going to click on Grant. And the reason I'm picking on Grant is because he's the first person listed. No more reason than that. Now, I've got his paper, and I want to make it so I can see the whole thing. Now, the first thing I want to do is save my work, because I'm spending time to make these changes. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it to my desktop just because it's the easiest place to find things. I don't have to go on things. But it says shitty first draft research. So I want to make sure it's clear that this is Grant paper with your name's comments on it. In this case, Chuck comments. Obviously, if I were in Grant's group, it would be grant paper with Caitlin's comments or grant papers with Iana's comments on it as well. So I'm going to save that. So that's going to make it easier when I give my feedback. So now I'm in his paper. The first thing I got to do, remember, we respond in Word by using track changes and by using comments as well. So the first thing I got to do is got to turn on track changes. So we go into review and we see track changes. And I'm going to click on track changes to turn them on. And then under markup, I'm going to click on this. I turn on track changes, then markup. I'm going to say click all markup. So remember, I did two things. I click on track changes to turn them on. And then I click on markup, and then I click up here, all markup. So then it's going to show the changes I make. So the first thing I notice is the double spacing. It's not a huge deal. I'm just really showing you how track change this works. So I'm going to just change this. I'm going to single space that. So it's so I'm going to change it to single space. Going to get rid of the spaces between lines, and it did not show the markup. So that didn't work. So I'm going to go back into review. I probably turned it off by hitting on track changes too many times. Track changes, going to show markup, and we're going to show all markup. And so, well, I didn't show the markup that I made. So maybe I need to make a title. So I'm going to continue on because I'm going to center the title. So I'm going to say insert title here because all papers need titles. Since I'm actually getting familiar with Grant's work because I've been following on everybody's research progress, I know that his paper's about the death penalty. So I'm going to suggest possibly American attitudes toward the death penalty. And see what it's doing. It's showing the changes that I make. And again, I'm not actually reviewing Grant's paper, but showing you how it works as well. The idea of capital punishment has always been a controversy, probably always will be controversy. So I noticed controversy right away. So if I want to do some sentence level editing, I can. I might say capital punishment has always been controversial and probably always, and will probably always, and probably always will be. Now, this isn't anything I would count off for, but you know, you see what I'm doing. I'm making changes and they're showing up as well. And then, you know, people will debate constantly over what they think is right and wrong. These debates create zero progression on resolving anything because, as usual, as topics go, each side will not truly listen to their competitor and only focus on their own opinion. And again, so, and let's say I want to make a comment on this. So I would go back into review. I would say new comment. And I would say, Grant, I like the idea that both sides listen to one another. So it's a good point. Can you say the thing in your words? And again, I know that this is a shitty rough draft. I'm not giving him a hard time so much. I'm just really showing you how the functions work. So you go and you make a combination of suggestions through using track changes and comments as well. And so basically that's how it works. And remember, we look for these criteria, you know, things that are effective. Because I think the introduction is pretty good. A little bit wordy, but good. things I like, things I want to know more about, things that could be clear, things you don't understand, organization, MLA citation, spelling, and grammar. Those are the things that we look for. And we make our comments using a combination of comments through track changes, because anything that you type, if you got track changes turned on, Grant can look at this paper and see the changes that you make. And he can either take them or not. And any comments you make, he can see by looking at by using the review and insert comment function as well. So I'm not gonna use this comment, but I would get rid of this comment because I didn't mean to make it. But so basically that's the way it works. So then I've already saved this, right? So then I've got to make sure these comments get back to Grant. So now we're in Tuesday's folder, so we got to go back to today's folder. So we're going to go back to this week. And so we're going to get in today's folder. And then we're going to get into write. And peer review your classmates' first draft. So I'm going to create a thread. And it's going to say something like Grant paper with Chuck's comments. That's what it's going to read. And then I'm going to upload my comments. So I'm going to find that paper that I read very carefully. It's on my desktop. And there it is. You see the video games my kids play. Anyway, and so there it is, and I submit it. So then there's a thread by me, and it's got Grant's paper with Chuck's comments. So basically, I use this to turn these comments back to Grant, and you're going to do this for both people in your group. So, for example, with Grant's paper, it's going to be responded to by Caitlin and Yana. So Grant should get comments from both those two people, and he should comment then to both people in his group. So Grant will comment to Caitlin and Yana. Yana will comment to Grant and Caitlin. Caitlin will comment to Grant and Yana as well. So basically, that's how it's going to work. You're going to get the people you're assigned. You're going to download their comments. You're going to download the papers, save them. You're going to review them very carefully, following the criteria that are there. These criteria that, remember, are there in today's folder in the right section of April 9th. And then once you've made your comments, you're going to save those comments. Make sure you save those comments. And then you're going to get back in this April 9th folder. And get into the right section, and you're going to create a thread that has your name or the author's name with your comments on it. Once you've created the thread, you're going to attach your comment to that person. And that's how we're going to do peer review. Hope things are going well. If you have any questions at all, please let me know, and I'll be glad to do all the help I can. And we're almost there. We get this paper done. I'm going to greatly simplify the third portfolio. So almost there. If you just get your stuff done, I will give you all the support I can, and we should be able to get things done. So thanks a lot. You take care. Bye-bye.